Welcome to today's show. We're thrilled to have Elena Zucker joining us. She's the best-selling author of The 7 Secrets of Influence. Elena has empowered thousands to boost their impact using ethical and powerful influence strategies. During the show, you'll discover what influence truly is, how it differs from manipulation, why mastering influence skills is essential for career success. And you'll also learn about Elena's unique theory on the 6 styles of influence. And if you stick around to the end, you'll even hear the elusive 7th secret of influence. So let's jump right in. Welcome, Elena.
Thank you so much, Brian. I'm thrilled to be here and fire away.
Excellent. Happy to have you. So let's
Thank
start with the most obvious question. What's the actual working definition of influence?
Great, great. Okay, well, it's very important to start there, of course. So, influence is a power, it's an ability to change the values, the attitudes, and behavior of another person without exertion of force or formal authority. Because, it's easy to say, because I'm the boss or I'm the mom. Okay, that's not influence. And interestingly, an ancient definition of influence, this is actually in the dictionary, says that influence is an ethereal fluid flowing from the stars, said to have magical powers over other people. I thought that was interesting because influence, like magic, when it's done well, looks easy, like it says that it's magic. But like magic, it requires a lot of skill and practice behind the scenes. Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing those insights. I guess that leads me to an important question, though. Uh, isn't influence really just manipulation, but a nicer word?
Well, you know what, Brian, I get that question all the time. And it's really important to deal with it because if I'm teaching people to influence, if they, in their core, don't feel good about it, they're not going to want to do it, right? So here's how I like to explain it. So, influence is a power like electricity or nuclear, and it can be used for good or bad, right? And then it's up to your morals to decide. So, I like to look at it in 2 dimensions to determine if it's positive influence. So, one of them is, are my intentions honorable? Do I intend to give you value, benefit, teach you something? And then the other side is from your end, the effect. How do you feel over there as a result of our exchange? Do you feel like you've gotten smarter, richer, more sophisticated? You've learned something? Or do you feel used or exploited or had? So if I can answer those two with positive answers, then I would say that's positive influence. Again, I say, it's up to the user. If you have a power in your hand, it's up to you how you want to use it. So I hope that answers that.
It does. It's terrific. So let's just assume that everybody's going to use this new superpower of influencing for good. Why should people learn influence skills?
We hope. Why should they learn influence skills? Okay, well, studies that have been conducted by the World Economic Council and also Harvard Business Review show that influence skills, they call it social and communication skills, will be one of the most important skill sets required. They said 2025 and beyond. So let's dive a little deeper here. So, why is this? Well, one reason is changing conditions in the workplace. Of course, I don't have to tell anybody, technology is all around us. And it's very good. Now we're using AI and it helps us in so many ways. We're all connected, but yet we're becoming more distant from each other. It's kind of a paradox, because while we are all connected, we're connected in a distant kind of way by screens. And so we're losing our personal touch. Our interpersonal skills are suffering. And as a famous futurologist said, high tech leaps ahead, high touch lags behind. So, quickly, another reason organizational that the environment is changing is that organizational structures are different now. You know, the hierarchical structure from the org chart, taken from the military, top down, command and control, no longer works, right? Employees don't want that. So now we have a flatter, lateral, more matrix organizational structure. Some would just call it more confusing, right? So we need to sell our ideas across organizational lines. And so, with all these changes and uncertainties going on, neither what you know nor who you know will guarantee your success. What you know, what will? I say influence skills. And I also call it portable power, Brian. It's something that I came up with because it's a set of skills, actually artistry, that once you learn, you'll have it wherever you find yourself. So that's why I call it portable power.
I love the idea of it being portable because once you learn it, you have it forever. All you can
Correct.
do at that point is practice and make it better.
Make it better. Absolutely.
So I know that you have a unique theory on the styles of influence. Can you talk to me a little bit about the 6 different styles you've identified?
Yes, of course. I just want to give you a little background first about how do I come up with this? So I worked for many years in New York and elsewhere in direct selling, in advertising, where I sold millions of dollars of products and services. And I had the opportunity to observe and learn from the best influencers. And then I got an advanced degree in organizational psychology. I always joke that maybe that cut down on how smart I was. But in any case, I created a self assessment instrument, which is called the Influence Styles Inventory. And it reveals your influence profile. So I'll get to some of them in a minute as you asked, but you learn your profile over a spectrum of 6 different styles. These styles are clusters of behavior. And while, of course, it's important to know your own styles, because we all like to know me, 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 what am I made of? It's even more vital to use this as a prism through which to understand other people's preferred styles. Because once you learn this typology, you'll have better radar. It's really quite amazing to pick up the cues that were there all along. You just didn't have the equipment to pick it up. So, as you asked, some of the styles very quickly are the telling analyst, who requires facts, figures, data, evidence. Welling, or the catalyst, someone who's a great listener, who is a catalyst for other people, and in fact is a great influencer that way. Or let's say gelling idealist, someone who's emotional and gets excited by a future vision. So knowing these styles is only the first step. What's really more important is doing. So how do you go from knowing to doing? Experiential practice in our course will teach you how to use these styles for better results in every realm, in business and your work life, but also in your personal life.
That's fascinating, Elena. I know that the book that you wrote is called The 7 Secrets of Influence. So I'm curious, you just talked about 6. So what's that elusive 7th secret?
So that's the big mystery. I like to say, well, it was a catchy title. 6 is not so catchy, but really, there is a kind of uber principle. It's kind of a guiding theory, and it's really very simple, and all good salespeople know this, but it's worth reinforcing. So my formula is that influence equals attentiveness and flexibility. So let me explain. To be really good at influence, you have to really listen and observe the other person, read the room, right? Specifically, their preferred method of communicating. So I go back to that's attentiveness, that's the observation and listening. Now, once you learn this, and you've learned that there are 6 styles, you may have been using only one, your default. And while you might be good at that and succeed 1/6 of the time, if you learn the other ones, you will have the flexibility and the confidence, I must add, because, once you have more ways than one of doing things, you are more confident that you can handle it. And so, what the course and learning the styles gives you is confidence and the flexibility to speak to the other person in their preferred language. So, again, I'll just go over the formula. So, it's influence equals attentiveness plus flexibility, or I equals A plus F. It's not mathematic, but it works.
That's very powerful. I know that formula is going to come in handy for a lot of people once they learn it. So we've covered a lot in a very short period of time, and I know we're just scratching the surface. There's just so much more to learn to become a top-notch, sought-after influencer in business. And so I'm curious. I know your book has a companion course, and we haven't really talked about that very much. You've mentioned it a few times. Tell us real quick what's in the course, and then tell us about the audience.
So the audience is, I could say anybody, but if we're talking to a corporate and entrepreneurial audience, I would say the following would benefit the most. So, first, of course, we have managers, because while managers may learn interpersonal skills, I call this more refined. It's a more precise way of managing and understanding your people. Expanding on managers, anybody who is assembling or leading a team. This is great to begin to assemble a team, and here's why. You can use the assessment, which is, by the way, a 55-item valid and reliable a psychometric instrument. I don't use all those big words in a short interview like this, but it is scientific. So if you were assembling, just starting to assemble a team, you could give the potential team members each the assessment and use it as a way to have diverse people in your team. So that's an interesting use. Another one, which is a very underserved population, Bryan, are the tech and IT people. So when I was a consultant with AT&T and T and some of the Silicon Valley, high tech companies like HP, they had zillions of engineers and technical people who may have gotten the upgrade of their technical specialty. Let's say the manufacturer had some sort of upgrade. And so anybody who was using a particular technology had to be upgraded in that. And then, maybe if they became a manager, they got sent to a management course, but they may never have had this kind of advanced interpersonal training. And so when, IT people, who are some of our most brilliant idea people, are on a team or a task force, they may often not have the influence skills to sell their ideas. And so, many a brilliant idea can die on the vine, right? If
Mhm.
someone didn't have the influence skills to sell them. And then last, let me just say last, it's salespeople. Because, as salespeople, and I include myself in that population, we're always looking for an extra edge. And this is definitely that. In fact, I've done several sales seminars of this kind for sales teams. They come and learn this together as a team. So, yeah,
That's terrific. I know that's coming full circle for you because you started in sales and developed a lot of this from
there you
sales.
go.
So it's good. Well, listen, for everybody tuning in, if you're interested in mastering influence for your team, Peopleist is excited to offer Elena's course for teams and for organizations, either at your location or at one of ours. To get started, all you have to do is send me an email at brian.howard@peopleist.com, and I'll be happy to share all the details with you. Also, as a special bonus, when you reach out, you'll also get 2 exclusive resources from Elena. One is Influence Defined, and the other is called 5 Influence Hacks to Give You the Extra Edge. And that's the edge that Elena was just talking about. So all you have to do is send me an email. We'll help you and your team take the first step towards becoming truly influential. So, Elena, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure learning more about you.
Thank you. I
You're
enjoyed your questions and hope I answered them. And if anybody has any questions, they can contact me about about any of the answers I gave today. But anything about the course, please reach out to Bryan.
sounds great. Uh, for all you watching, I'm waiting for your email, and I'm ready to get you on the path to being a master influencer. So we'll see you all in the next video. Thanks again, Elena.
Thank you
Bye bye.
so much, Bryan. Thank you.